welcome back, guys. This is the second installment of the 46 minute. Shout out to James, who did an impressive, very knowledgeable episode in Barcelona that inspired me to do one of the team that I love, which is Bayern Munich. So it's basically a quick segment where we tell you our opinions and what we think and how things are going to go, or things that we hope that happen. Nothing obviously secure. We don't have enough information for us to determine that, but it's just us as fans and trying to communicate what we think. I'm going to follow these exact same structure that James did, which I thought it was pretty good. And the first question for Bayern would be who should stay. To preface that, we got to obviously mention that we've already mentioned a couple, actually three players that were, in my opinion, key to the team, which are David Alaba, not only because of the positions that he's able to play, because this guy can do it all, basically. He can play LB, he can play CB. In Austria, where he plays for the national team, he's playing left winger, CDM. So losing that to what I think is a direct rival of Real Madrid really, really sucks. But then close the circle. He did great. He's a world champion. He is now gone. The lesser, and I hate to say this because I was always such a hater about this guy for some reason, and now that he's gone, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have hated him. Maybe he was actually a really big part of the team as far as, locker room or what have you. But Javi Martinez has already gone also. As far as who should stay, undoubtedly we have to protect players like Goretzka, like Kimmich, and obviously Lewandowski. These are players that we shouldn't lose. They are, in my opinion, irreplaceable. Not having him in the team and the squad will mean a huge loss, not only in cohesion but also group mentality and all of those things as well. Joshua Kimmich being one of the players that just kind of just like Alaba can play any position and is really good at what he does. Same thing with Goretzka, who developed and became the monster that he is today in the mid center. So those three players to me need to be protected. Lewandowski, though, it's an interesting subject because we've grown too dependent on him, and to be able to replace somebody that plays in his position, which, by the way, is that position that you don't find players playing anymore. It is the era of left wingers and number 10s. There's no true number 9s that I can maybe count 5 or 6 in my hand. So replacing somebody like him, it's going to be tough. We must, because Lewandowski, as good as a hell of a player that he is, he's stopped forever, obviously. So once again, who should stay are Goretzka, Joshua Kimmich, and Robert Lewandowski. These players need to be protected at all costs. We cannot afford to lose them. To answer, though, the who should go, I feel as though as Buona Sarr, who is a right back, doesn't really fit in the squad. He really isn't even bench material. Like, I don't see a space for him. He hadn't had a lot of playing time, and seeing him go would free up a little bit of space and maybe money so that we can get players that could actually develop. The next thing that it's on the list here, again, following James' structure, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? To start off with the good, it's cohesion. Bayern, it's very good at respecting each other as players, at knowing that they need each other as players. They know how to play with one another. For example, Choupo-Moting arrived after the UCL, and he immediately was compatible with the players of the team. So little things like that, the cohesion that Serge Gnabry and Lewandowski have, where they know where each other are going to be all the time. I think those are important things. I think that's what gives us the W's and things like that. Obviously, all of this is part of mastermind mentality of Hansi Flick, where he'll just let him go into the field and kind of figure each other out without him saying too much about it. Of course, another thing that needs to be added that is going to be Lewandowski breaking the record of the highest scorer in the Bundesliga with 41 goals, despite missing a bunch of games, a bunch of key games that would have given us a title much earlier, the Bundesliga title much earlier. So that's definitely something that hadn't been broken since don't quote me on this, but I think 1963 when Gerd Mueller stopped playing. So it's been that long since anyone's broken that record. So that's evidently huge, and it speaks to the type of player that Lewandowski is, and why we must keep him, but we mustn't be dependent on him. The bad of the team, really just like the past 10, 15 years, just been injuries, losing players at the worst time ever. For example, again, coming back to Lewandowski, getting injured during the UCL after the group stages. That to me means that we became so dependent on this player that we ended up losing games that we should have won, in my opinion. And I'm speaking without, not trying to be biased at least, but maybe this is a little biased. But in my opinion, I think we would have progressed through a UCL and perhaps even win it again back to back. I don't think that's crazy to say. I think we have a team. I think we had the cohesion, the connection, and we know how to win finals and we know how to get out of difficult situations. However, um, injuries are it's what messed us up. But like any other big team, you lose your players, and there goes your season, unfortunately. It is it's a little unreal to have to not have the ability to um sorry, let me say that again. It's kind of unreal to have injuries right when we don't need them. It seems that it almost happens every time that we lose a key player to the team, that we were so dependent on. So that somehow needs to change. I kind of tied that in with the bad and the ugly are pretty much the same to me. The ugly is just being the how dependent we became in one player only. This being Lewandowski. We're you look at the UCL, that one's evident. We couldn't score because we didn't have Lewa. But if you look at the Bundesliga, you look at it and we couldn't. We had the chance to close the league, I think 3 or 4 games in advance. Took us to the last game to actually grab the title, just because there wasn't a scorer, unfortunately. Uh, and so and you also got to think about the statistics, about I think it was a PSG game. Yeah, the PSG game was the last one that we played. I think we had about 45 shots in the two matches, the two legs against PSG, and only able to score 3 goals total. If you have 45 shots, 45 significant shots, one of them, you shouldn't only have 3 goals. And that kind of speaks uh about the lack of a striker, and how dependent the teams has become. Because I can only imagine that if you put Sané or if you put Gnabry, they are going to be looking for the Lewandowski. Now, I'm not saying that. Well, I am going to say Choupo Moting. It's good, but he's no Lewandowski. No one can really beat. And so that subtracts from a little bit from being able to just easily replace Lewandowski, which is critical for us, because knowing that he can't be replaced, it's kind of frustrating, because who do you bring? What's gonna happen when he gets injured again next year for the UCL? What's gonna happen if he has a bad Euro with Poland and he's critically injured and we don't have him for the beginning of the season? Who's he gonna be replaced with? So I think that is the ugly of the team right now, that dependency on just one player. Um, the biggest off-season question for me would be, what's gonna happen with the new change of management, of coaching. We had a great season, or a great few seasons, with Hansi Flick, who came out of nowhere, but he was always there in front of us. We just never noticed him. He's been the assistant coach for the German team for the longest time. He's won the World Cup. He's been an assistant for Bayern. So he was always there. We just never saw him until he actually stepped up himself and did the great things that he did. So losing him is obviously, it could be a bad thing. However, I personally believe we've gained somebody who is my age, by the way. Well, he's 33 years old. I'm 31 years old. And this coach, Mr. Nagelsmann, it's someone who's demonstrated that knows what he's doing. He has been a coach since his late 20s. which by the way was 5 years ago. And he took charge of Hoffenheim. I remember when Hoffenheim had one of the greatest seasons with literally no team. There were no players in that team, and it was all tactics, tactics, tactics. Then he showed up and did even better with RB Leipzig, which is where we're getting him from. And if you look at his trajectory, all he knows is tactics. He may not have the greatest squad available to him, but what he does know how to do is to work with the little bit he has and make something, make sure that he's at least getting something. He hasn't won the league, the Bundesliga, but he sure has been really close, and he has definitely been able to scare Bayern, who's usually first. Um, so that's that's a plus. To me, really, it could go either way. He could be a bust because he's going to be handed a great team. He could be a bust, and of course, you turn your head into Twitter and listen to all this Twitter fanboys saying, we haven't had a bad manager for quite some time. The board's stupid. It's time for us to get a bad manager. Blah blah blah. And while Hansi was exceptional, and in a very short amount of time, and figure out the way to make things work. I can't discount that if he'd stayed longer, we probably would have an incredible and impeccable record like we have the past years. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I could go 50-50. Once again, if Nagelsmann, if Julian Nagelsmann is going to bring anything, it's going to be the way that he knows and creates tactics. I think we all know tactics. I think we know when to apply them, but to create and to apply tactics effectively, I think is something that he's very good at. A couple of things here left would be transfer dreams. Everybody come to Bayern. No, we need defenders. We lost Alaba, we lost Boateng. We need defenders. It has been a little bit of a touchy area for us because injuries, because we just haven't had anybody who's worth the position. If I'm honest with you, we did hire Upamecano from Leipzig as well, who's really good, but I don't know how well he's going to work with the team. He knows the league, which is good. He knows the rival, which is Bayern, and now will be RB Leipzig. So Upamecano is a great star, but I would love to see Bundesliga players, players like Tapsoba from Leverkusen or Lacroix for Wolfsburg. They're super young, they're malleable, and they could easily fit in the Bayern moto, the Bayern team, another player who I still think we should pursue, and James probably not going to be happy about this one, but it's Serginho Dest. I think he's great. I think he's a very good defender. He's fast. He will definitely fit in the team 100%. We should pursue that. I don't know how feasible that is, but that is why this is called dream transfer dreams. I'm sorry. We should probably also grab a couple, if not one or two, if not three respectable midfielders, just to have someone to back up Goretzka and Kimmich in case things go wrong, which used to be Javi Martinez, but now he's gone. As far as who, I think Sabitzer from Leipzig, it's very good at switching from defensive to attacking. So I think he would probably fill in that position, that Goretzka position, but also a little bit of that Kimmich position, where it's one of them it's more geared towards attacking, the other one is more towards defending. But I think Sabitzer could actually do more, rather not more. It could be a better fit, I think. If we're talking about transfer dreams, I think Kylian Mbappe will be the ultimate transfer dream. I couldn't think of anybody that would be better in that position. Having already talked about the inability to replace Lewandowski, I could only think of that one person. But we were not known for paying millions and millions of dollars for players, so I really doubt that happens. And if it does, I mean, I'll be extremely stoked. All right, and lastly will be the season grade. I'm gonna go with a B. A B because we did win the Bundesliga. We did win the German league. Um, we, however, did not win the Pokal. We did not win the UCL. Uh, Winning a title allows me to at least give a B or perhaps a B plus even. Um, and to be fair, we don't have to win everything. I don't believe a team has to win every single title to demonstrate that they're actually good. I think it's more about how the team understands each other, how they as a group achieve or try to achieve goals. That's how I see it at least. Um, right now we're at a transition point where the squad and management and everything else, everything is changing. So the next 2 years, the next 3 years at least, I'm expecting that we do great things domestically. We win the Bundesliga, we win the Pokal. I don't see us getting too far into the UCL, but I've been wrong before, so that could evidently also happen. It's football. You never know what's gonna happen. But because of the fact that we're a little bit of starting the process again, where we're acquiring new players and we have new management, I think that in my experience tells me that we're going to continue to win the local league, the domestic league, but it'll take a little bit more to succeed in the Champions League. It's just like what happened back in 2013. We won it, we didn't win it for 5 years, and then we're back, and then we won it again. And so maybe we want to break from that cycle. Maybe Nagelsmann is the one that breaks us off from that cycle. Who knows? But that's been my analysis. If you like it, if you don't like it, let me know. Maybe I said a couple things that are wrong, but um, just let me know in the comments. And up next should be Ryan with his Arsenal analysis. And I know that kid's also gonna love it or gonna kill it. Um, Shout out to my buddy Joshua who helped me out with this analysis. We basically talked for a little bit, and turns out that we share the exact same opinions. Love you, Josh. Love you, little baby Leon too, and your wife Lindsay, of course. Other than that, if you like this, share it, subscribe, throw me a like, throw me a comment, tell me that you hate me. Just say something. All right. Thank you. Peace.